Hello! We're here to talk about the second episode of a very English scandal.
You got it right. You got something on the end of your nose. Oh. A very English scandal.
I don't usually get things right. That's why he's saying
he's not being a
patronising arse. I do often get things wrong.
I was being a patronising arse. I really was. Okay, so we really enjoyed the first episode, didn't we? And,
my God!
And we know that from a lot of your feedback, a lot of you guys really enjoyed it. Although some of you found it a little bit off-putting. I mean, there were a few moments with Vaseline and what have you that were a bit...
And I feel a bit sad about that because I think a lot of people would have turned off. I almost did because I thought, is it going to be a lot of this? But if people stuck with it,
no pun intended.
There was only really that scene that was really...
Yeah, and also what's quite refreshing is the second episode involved nothing like that whatsoever.
No,
I mean,
nothing too gratuitous.
I thought that if I had a headline about the second episode, it was a good hours of primetime entertainment that was thought-provoking, entertaining, dramatic and funny, and yet it didn't have any of the sort of reliances on sex or lewd behaviour or anything like that.
Interesting. I didn't like it as much as I liked the first episode.
Well, no, I didn't.
Because we haven't talked yet. We don't know yet what the other one thinks.
No, but I did think it does stand head and shoulders above a lot of other drama that's on TV that's homegrown. I'm not a big fan of homegrown drama. I'm going to say it. I don't care. I work in television, but I think a lot of our drama is a load of old shite.
So do I.
So this.
Do you know what I missed from this series, from this episode? I missed Hugh Grant.
Yes, I did.
Because I loved his performance so much, and I loved his relationship with is it Michael Jennings' character? Alex Jennings' character. And I wanted to see more of that.
I missed not only a lot of Hugh Grant, I missed a lot of Alex Jennings.
Yeah.
I thought their interactions and their chats...
in a pretend set of California, which was dire.
Well, you're jumping far ahead. But I mean, you're right. I thought from the get-go, this was very much, as a headline to anyone watching it, this is very much Ben Whishaw's show. And he is a bit of an acquired taste, I think, Ben.
He's very mannered.
Yeah, but I think the character's meant to be, and I can see what he's going for, and I can see what the director's gone for, which is sort of cartoon-like. I mean, there are times where I feel this show sort of makes a nod towards the Carry On films almost, in its sort of quirky seaside nature.
And I think it did that very well in episode 1, but I think in episode 2 it was just pitched a bit too much to Postcard. I mean, I still really enjoyed it, but it was pitched a bit...
Yeah.
And it got a bit silly.
So, I mean,
can I just say, is this story real?
Oh, yeah.
We're not looking up... We don't want to look up the old news stories because we don't want to spoil it for us. But did this really happen?
And Nadia keeps asking, can they infer that he wanted to kill him? Well, I think that's actually what the case was. I think Jeremy Thorpe was brought before...
Oh, well, don't tell me because I don't want to know anything because I can't remember. I remember Jeremy Thorpe. I remember that there was a scandal. But, I mean, this is extraordinary and it becomes... I mean, this episode... with each moment you went, what? God.
I think although Alex Jennings wasn't in it a lot, the whole episode kind of kicks off with a really wonderfully classic Alex Jennings line where Hugh Grant goes, "Is he dead?" And Alex Jennings goes, "Oh no, something far better than that." Yeah. And you're thinking, well, what the hell? He must have killed himself.
What he meant.
Well, no, but then he got married, and then we cut to this scene where the bride's father is giving.
But you haven't said who's getting married. The Ben Whishaw character Norman Scott is getting married. Because obviously Jeremy Thorpe has been just insane with this man, wants him to disappear off the planet.
So the thought that he's getting hitched means he'll probably be off his back.
It's probably going to be off his back.
And then we cut to this scene where he's getting married to this woman, we don't know, whoever she is. And the father of the bride gives this speech where he describes her as marrying a hopeless poofter. And just slammed. What was his final?
How she got pregnant? She must have stood up wind or something, wasn't it? It was a hilarious speech. The actor was just there for just that one scene. So we salute you. A brilliant performance.
Brilliant. A great monologue, wasn't it?
It was a great monologue, and a great monologue if actors are looking for something. For an audition, don't you think?
And so some notable moments in this. So Hugh Grant's wife. So is it a vanilla wedding, a vanilla marriage? Because fundamentally he's gay, or is he just, does he back both ways?
It was a vanilla marriage.
Exactly, vanilla marriage. But I thought one of the strongest scenes, and probably the only real scene that Hugh was present for, was the scene in which he had to share with his work colleagues the fact that his wife died in a car accident. I thought it was an absolute top drawer example of acting, because obviously he was upset on a human level, but not necessarily upset on a fundamental emotional level, because the wedding was false. And yet he had to sit there and deliver the news.
I think he cared. He cared for his wife. Yeah. Just because he wasn't sexually attracted to her doesn't mean and they had a son together.
Yeah, and I thought it was brilliantly understated. Yeah. I mean, and what we don't ever see Hugh Grant do often is understated, and he's just impeccable.
My God, if there was ever anyone's career that was totally determined by their looks and by the success of their first film, that foppish character, which we all loved. But here we see he is a really, really impressive actor with a huge range, actually.
Yeah, but I thought that scene was very powerful. And also coming out of that scene was the kind of litmus paper for the character played by Jason Watkins, who is an absolute favourite of ours from the movie Confetti, as he begins to spy an opportunity to sort of take the Liberal leadership. And I mean, he's an actor who is just one of my favourites. Yeah, seen him at the theatre. Jason, you can't do wrong for me, but his slowly burning, itching, squirming desire to kind of get in on the scene.
And there's a brilliant scene when he and a colleague have interviewed the Norman Scott character Ben Whishaw plays, because they think they're going to get, stuff against Jeremy Thorpe because he wants to bring Jeremy Thorpe down. And Norman Scott, in his inimitable way, has given them chapter and verse and the finite detail of exactly everything that happened in their sex life. And he
Jason Watkins'
just
face.
One look from Jason Watkins just sums it all up.
Clearly, you're very convincing at you're very convincing at getting money out of people. It's just so funny. But also another character that creeps into it, who becomes another lover of Norman Scott, bizarrely, is Eve Miles from that series Keeping Faith.
And now we only discovered her a few months ago.
A friend of ours suggested it.
Because there's this Welsh series that she's in. She is a brilliant,
oh my God,
brilliant actress.
There's something about her that's...
She doesn't have a huge part in this episode, but my God, and there's a twist at the end. My God, she is brilliant.
I've got a bit of a crush on her.
Yeah, I've got
something about Eve Miles.
She's got lovely lips.
Yeah, she's quite something. I thought she was playing a part that you could have played.
I could have played that part.
Yeah, I thought it was very you, that part.
The thing is, I don't like to leave the house, so I couldn't have.
Yeah. So, I do find it rather amusing. All the way through this series, Ben Wishaw's banging on about his national insurance card. And I
turned to you at one point, didn't I? I said, if only Jeremy had given him his national insurance bloody card,
absolutely,
none of this would have happened. It's about treating people properly at the end of a relationship. Absolutely. That's the theme for me through this.
I thought Eve Miles' very seductive line to when she was wooing Ben Whishaw was, "The nights are long."
Yeah.
I just love the way she said that.
She's very sexy.
Yeah, and there is actually sex scene, but it's done quite tastefully.
It's just under a duvet, don't see much.
Yeah. There was another character in this who I thought was a wonderful... I just want to put a shout out to a guy called Paul Hilton, who played the go-between, the gay go-between, who was seeking the murderer for Jeremy Thorpe. There was a moment where Alex Jennings, in this awfully constructed escape in California, is in a sort of beach hut with him, and he says, "Can you do it?" And this poor little guy goes, "No." I just thought the moment you saw someone who's actually the guy who can sort out hitmen saying, "I don't want to do it," I thought that was really funny.
Oh my God, we've forgotten a brilliant scene with Alex Jennings, where Jeremy Thorpe is in the House talking to the House of Commons, doing a speech about the brutality that was that we were shipping arms to, was it Nigeria, and yet people were starving, and he's giving this really impassioned, very liberal speech, and you've got Alex Jennings in the background just looking at him, knowing that he wants to just, the way that he's just very casually, in a very cavalier way, deciding whether this man shall live or die because he's had sex with him.
Yes.
That was a really good little scene there that told us a lot about Alex Jennings' character's shift in how he was seeing Jeremy Thorpe, because you hear him saying, "Why do we love him so much? Why will we do anything for him?" He's starting to see this very dark side to Jeremy, which I think sets up some juicy stuff for episode 3.
I agree. But also, I wanted to ask, what is your feeling towards Jeremy Thorpe, knowing what he's planned? Is he just another opportunistic politician who has a total disregard for life.
Well, you know, they say that so many politicians are sociopaths or psychopaths, aren't they? That you almost need to be a psychopath to be a politician. I'm adding a disclaimer there. Of course, this is just my opinion. And so we're seeing his psychopathic
Well, they also
traits.
say that and part of that psychopathic
Just
nature...
get rid of him. He's annoying me.
but
He's
part of that
getting in my way.
psychopathic nature is a huge ego. I mean, I've heard other people say that Westminster and Parliament is Hollywood for ugly people. Which I think is really funny.
That's funny. Who said that?
I can't remember, but someone said
clever.
that, and it's very true. So, this sense of high self-regard and this untouchability in the corridors of power.
Yeah.
And yet, at the same time, I think that's great casting. With it being Hugh Grant and his face, I keep sort of... There's a softness. I keep wanting... I want to be soft with him.
Oh, yeah, we love him. But again, down to Hugh Grant's brilliant acting, he's given us a multifaceted character. So nobody is just one thing or other. Even the most evil person is very rarely just that. So he has great traits as well.
Now, you didn't...
Actually, when you think about it, where have we seen him being a good person?
We haven't once.
Only in the House.
No.
Only as a politician.
Yeah, in a notionally professional manner.
Actually, we haven't seen one decent act from him.
No, and I've been yearning for some sort of
humanity.
humanity
And yet
in
Hugh
him.
Grant has made him
Have some
a
humanity.
sympathetic character to us.
Kind of odd. You don't like the graphics, do you? That was a problem you had. Flying
I think
across.
it's again that cartoony level to it. It's a bit much. It's just a bit silly.
And then we move on to the introduction of a final character in this episode, which is the murderer. Or does he murderer? Is he a murderer? There's no spoiler there. Blake Harrison from The Inbetweeners.
Do you know him?
So I was quite excited about him coming up because a number of you guys were saying he was in it. And I was a bit disappointed.
Well, here's the thing. Earlier in this review, we were talking about how we thought they walked the line really well in episode 1 between like that sort of, what would you call it, Mark? What's the technical term for that kind of humour? It's kind of...
Gallows?
No, the tone of that sort of humour. Well, it will come to me. Yeah, and it's arched. There's sort of an arched humour to it. And we think in this episode it's gone a bit too far. And actually, Blake Harrison was, for me, what did that. He just... But... I've had a second thought now. Have any of you seen I, Tonya? Because in I, Tonya, all the way through, I was going, this is ridiculous. These ridiculous characters, they couldn't possibly be like this. This is just too silly. And then at the end of I, Tonya, you see the real people talking. And actually, they were identical. So I'm wondering, actually, whether this is a brilliant performance of Blake Harrison, and this guy just was this real sort of idiot goon almost.
So, for example, when he went to Dunstable and he meant Barnstable...
Yeah, I've looked everywhere for him in Dunstable, and he was supposed to look for him.
So what you mean is that to the extent that he was a useless, hopeless oik who couldn't carry out the job...
Yeah, and it felt a bit too much in the episode, but maybe that's exactly what he was like.
Well, yeah, maybe. I did feel that the episode chugged along a bit there at that point. At the very point, I thought Ben Whishaw was getting on my nerves.
Ben went a bit pantomime.
He went a bit panto. He did go a bit panto.
I lost it a bit.
And I thought Blake just was a bit unbelievable.
Which I did look at my watch in episode 1.
But I think it missed Hugh Grant, and yet it's teed me up rather nicely for the last... There's only one episode left.
Really excited about the next, because we did enjoy this episode. We did.
And a cameo from... Betty, you done a whoopsie.
Michelle Tracy's old.
Yeah, I know.
Betty.
I remember her being very young when I was a mere zygote.
If any Americans are watching this, look, what the hell are you talking about? We're talking about a very British series here.
So I think it was a little weaker than the first, but I think mainly we just wanted more Hugh Grant. But I think you're right. I think they're teeing us up.
We missed you.
I think they're teeing us up for a finale.
Yeah, and Alex Jennings' character and he are going to fall out.
I have to say,
Alex has woken up and smelt the coffee. Jeremy Thorpe is a psychopath.
I saw Alex Jennings in town the other day. I am going to have to go up to him. I've got a bit of a man crush on Alex Jennings as well.
Maybe it's a granddad crush.
Maybe it's... I don't know.